All right, it is Sunday, the weekend of March 31st, and welcome to the Trader Hub Weekly Market Review. Taking a look at the price action of the indexes last week, starting with the NQ. A bit of a choppy week and a short week as well. So we kind of just had more kind of consolidation, slow consolidation to the downside here. Starting to look like, if we look at the 1 hour, you can kind of really see this. Failure to kind of regain the level to gain here, so we moved lower. We have regained this level that we had kind of marked out previously. Holding it for now, pretty, it hasn't regained again, so it's pretty likely that we could see another retest down here. You could take a long somewhere, or look for a long rather, somewhere maybe 18,420-ish on NQ, but you don't want to see this make a lower low. At that point, you're pretty much expecting a come back to this origin that moved us up here, down here at this previous level to hold. So 18,290-ish. Now you may very well see something, if this doesn't hold, you could take a short on the retest there and try to capture that, but we'll kind of have to see if that ends up playing out. Those are kind of the only real ways that I would look for longs. You could look for something to hold here, move higher, or see a failure of this regain and take a long there. But below this wick, I think that you talked about that before we went live here. We're not looking for longs until we kind of retest this origin here. So that's kind of what the NQ looks like. A bit of a choppy week too, but we'll have to see what happens going this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think longs in this immediate zone have a maybe, but if it fails right here where it is down to 18,400, I think it's more likely that it's going to lose another 100 points, and we'll want to see 18,291 there hold, or see it tested and regained, and that's where I'd be longing.
Yeah, and it could be anywhere kind of in that range, but we definitely want to see that level.
Right.
Even if it stops down here and moves back up, we want to see that level gained before we take any longs down there. So definitely something to look out for. Unlike the NQ, S&P, a bit of a cleaner week. So starting out, a little bit choppy as well. Making a decent gain on Wednesday, and then closing above the level to gain, or to regain, you could call it here. So right now, we haven't made a new all-time high yet. We're really close, but we kind of failed it. So have kind of lost a level. I wouldn't be surprised to see this lose, come back up, and then, go. But more likely, I think we could probably retest the origin of this leg up here. So what you might look for, similar to the NQ idea, is, losing this level, retesting and shorting here. And then this level could very well not hold either, but you could take a TP there and then hold for sort of the retest of the origin there, take the bigger move, come all the way down there and close your short there. I do like longs in this area. We'll kind of have to see if this upper range will hold, or if this sort of low of the range would also potentially get tagged, and see if that's good for a long. But similar to our other call on NQ, if we kind of end up below this level to 5,270, we're not really interested in any longs until we see one of these lower ranges tested. Is there anything different about this chart? I mean, obviously it's kind of gaining, but it looks like it could lose again.
Yeah, I think right here, when the market opens up, it looks really good for them to try another high to clear out the shorts and then send it down. That's what it looks like to me. So you could take a scalp here where it is and hope for continuation to the upside. But I really do think that even if it were to go up, it would just be an opportunity for shorts.
Yeah, and so you can tell me if you think I'm wrong here, but one of the things that I see is so that was, right there. That was kind of the rejection that sent us below the level that we needed to hold there. And that's the area that regained. We tried to hold it, and then we're below. So this is kind of a gain in, if we invert the chart, right? This regained this level, so now we're looking for, it would look like a long, but this is inverted, so this is actually a short. We could see this come back down for a retest and then go. So that's kind of why I see that there, and I think that that's the level that tells us that we're probably looking for lower at this point.
Right.
Cool. So RTY did some gaining this week. What do you think of this chart?
I really like it. It's in that zone. We've been saying that R2Y is going to be testing here. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. On the daily. Sorry, can you drive that?
Yeah, I got you. So on the daily chart here,
we've got some really good closes, some big green candles up in not all-time high territories, but higher than we've seen in a couple of years here. So very exciting on the RTY. I think we're looking for continuation, and it looks like we've taken out quite a few shorts here and expect higher. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I see the same thing. We've been calling about this region for quite some time. This looked like maybe we could lose and go lower, but we regained. So now we're definitively at sort of new highs on this leg, clearing the last high that sent us down when we initially lost that range. So let me see if I can find that. Back down here, we are above this last area that tried to hold before we lost this whole leg. So really good gaining here. If you're a bull on the small caps, this is exactly what you want to see. Doesn't mean we couldn't come back down and kind of retest the origin of that short that is now we're above. So we could consider that a major support level going into that. We'll have to see if we actually get a retest or if we just blast through. I think one thing to consider here is that now that we're moving quickly through this level is all the shorts or any perpetual shorts that we have back here. This is kind of in the zone where their stop losses are going to be. If there's any remaining shorts from down here, they're getting stopped out, and that's going to be buying. That's going to push us through here. So we might get like a short-term rally that kind of throw us up here, and this is kind of in line with our projected price action, right? We could see this kind of ripping through up here and then coming back for a retest and then trying for all-time high. So kind of everything that we're expecting. We'll just have to see if we get further high or kind of retest lower first. Looks good though. What do you think about gold? I think the last time we had talked about a potential retest lower, but looks like we're just gaining and going.
Yeah, it held the low that took us up. It kind of lost it there, but it immediately regained it. And so that's why, yeah, exactly. And that's why we're going up. So I think there's a good chance we'll make it to 2,500 before we have a good retracement. But that's a huge increase. What is that, 15%?
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And I just want to, we had kind of talked about
10%.
This zone last time. So, that ended up holding and producing this leg up. There was this gap as a contract switch gap, rather. No reason that has to fill. We've seen that not fill in the past, but this is valid price action. Just want to point that out. And then the 2,500 projection, way up here. Yeah, it's a big move, but we could certainly see that happen. That's based on our fib pole projection from large time frame failure to failure. So this fib pole here, from about 2,000 to around 16,000. I'm sorry, 2,000 to 1,680. The 1.618 was the initial resistance to 2,200, and now the 2.618 is 2,520. So that's kind of where we're getting these. Truth be told, there's really nothing that says that we can't just blast through those levels, but at this point, it's all price discovery. There's no TA up here. So I think on the short term, maybe we could see something hold here at 2240. If that gets lost, we could come back. But other than that, we're moving up, like you kind of mentioned before.
Yeah, I wouldn't be looking for shorts until we were printing on the hourly or 4 hourly.
You don't want to short the top on the way up. That's suicide for sure.
Right.
The Dow, kind of a similar look to the S&P. More of a kind of a choppy week last week. Ended up gaining, and then we kind of gave some of that back early week, and now we tried again. This, to me, these wicking candles looks like a potential failure here. I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't see like sort of the top of this range that consolidated to break up there. I could see us coming back there. We can hold or go higher, or we can try again, fail, and then kind of come back down here, maybe even up here. But I think that until we lose this level that we've marked out here, 40,000, there's no reason to expect this to be a bigger pullback into the downside here. We could definitely see lower. Though if we do lose that, I wouldn't be looking for longs until we hit somewhere in this range. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that line, the level you put in there at 39, just under 40k, is the exact zone to be looking at. So if we come back down to it and start printing below that zone, you want to look for shorts. But otherwise, it looks like a long opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, this is the level that failed to send us down. This is the one that, you know,
Right.
we tested and then we broke above to send us up. So that's why we identified that level.
Perfect. Yeah.
We'll pop that back. But yeah, so oil. What do you think about oil? Nice kind of a gain this week.
I think it's ready to keep going. If we saw a pullback, I'm looking for it to hold the top of the range here. So not really get much lower than 83. 82, 80. That's the kind of zone I'm looking at for it to retrace and really start printing major levels on the
Something like that. We don't want it to kind of lose back below here, really.
Yeah.
This price action that we predicted kind of ended up working out. We wanted to, how it got there didn't really matter, but what we were looking for was the kind of when we got back down to this level, we wanted to see it regain, retest, and then go higher. That's exactly what we ended up getting there. So that's a really nice quintessential price action. And that's another reason why we don't want to see this kind of area get tested again. This has already been tested. We want to see this just continue up on the longer term as well. I mean, this is, this was the failure that sent us down. We've held it after gaining, and now it just looks like we need to make a higher high. So I don't see a lot in the way of us getting all the way to maybe 88, 87. I think that this is pretty much exactly what we want to see to kind of retest the highs and potentially make an even higher high up here in the 100s. So kind of everything that we've been calling for a long time. What do you think about the dollar?
It did a really good little retracement there and go. It really looks like it's going to continue up. It's regaining the zone that created the previous leg, so it's really looking quite good for continuation to the upside here. Now that the shorts have kind of been taken out there at 105.2. That was a previous short level that has now been gained. Yeah, perfect. And now that we're up and above that, it looks like a good long opportunity as well. Even in though it's been tested already, I think we'll go up to 105.8.
7.8, but it's probably 105.8
Yeah.
essentially. That's kind of where it
Right.
failed to send us down. I mean, you could argue it's
Rounding
there,
off.
but that general area. As long as we can kind of regain this failure, that kind of pushed us this leg down. Like if we can regain that, we're almost certainly going to 105.8. So we'll have to see. That sounds a little bit more like a guarantee than I would have liked it to sound, but that's what we need to see to gain above that high. So be on the lookout for that. This does look good for continuation. And then on the higher time frame, obviously this is a high or higher high, higher low. So we're definitively in higher high, higher low after making a series of lower highs, lower lows. So this is exactly what we're talking about when we want to see this reversal and potentially see our long-awaited $109 target.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We can close that out because that's occurred. And lastly, the banks. So the banks have been kind of choppy, obviously. Really kind of wicking hard in here, but this is a nice kind of, a definitive higher high, higher low, and then higher high look. So looking like we're doing everything we need to kind of gain up above here. Finally, how many times are we going to retest this before it happens? This looks like we're getting closes kind of above ranges we've had an issue closing into before. So this could come off, like just take off, or it could kind of retrace a little bit, put in another higher low, and then go. But right now we're looking to break above 50-50, in my opinion. That's much more likely than seeing lows at this point, especially after this hold down here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like it coming down and holding 49.50 there. It'd be a great opportunity to hold the top of the zone there. Yeah, and you can see that is the exact level. Even if you keep going even further to the left there, back,
Like
yeah, that's the
there
even
too.
for the exact level that tried to hold but broke and produced the low here. Yep.
Yeah, I see that.
So anything inside that wick is really bullish to the top side. You can see here it's like $49.25. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly the box I wanted to draw.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
So anywhere in this range.
Yeah, so that's why locally it'll look spooky, like it's losing, but it will be losing. It'll be a regain situation, but on the longer time frame, buying that zone is still logical, right?
Yeah, you could see like a wick down to the bottom of this range, and then getting slurped up for like a nice wick close, something like this. And then doing one of these kind of situations. So I'm on board
Precisely.
with you. I mean, I pretty much agree. I don't think there's anything necessarily saying that we have to see that. That's definitely if we wanted to long. At this point, having missed these other opportunities, that's certainly the range to do it. But we could also just keep rolling along. But we'll have to see what happens this week. Normally, when you get like big inflation data on Friday, we would have seen a big move. Markets were closed, so a lot of that move may be delayed until the open this afternoon in about 30 minutes. So we could see some volatility kind of jump into the market real quickly. But I think that'll get priced in real quick. We'll just kind of have to see what kind of price discovery we get this week about all these moves we've been talking about. But do you have anything else to add? I don't think there's anything else to cover. Should be a bit quieter with less volatility after all these news events.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool. All right. Well, in that case, thanks for tuning in to the Trader Hub Weekly Market Review. If you like this kind of content, sub to the Hub and consider joining our Trader Hub Discord community server. You can find it using our link in the description. See you next week.
Till next time.